I don't know where some people's heads are at, quite frankly, when it comes to purchasing window cleaning rounds off people. Sure, if it's a worthwhile investment, then make it, fine, not a problem. I have both sold window cleaning work and I have purchased it. I have, you know, I've always viewed it as a transaction where the price is negotiable based on effort. Okay. And as I've said in the past, you know, window cleaning is becoming a more professional industry now in the UK now. With the technology that's available now, I don't think you have much in the way of an excuse. If your customer doesn't know your name, doesn't have your phone number, you don't have their phone number, okay, you just turn up when you fancy it, that's fair enough. And if you choose to run your business that way, then Godspeed, I wish you all the best, right? But here's the thing, there's just no excuse for it now. And you make a rod for your own back. If you don't do certain things, you make a rod for your own back. So I've tried purchasing window cleaning round off a gentleman, should I say, not a young lad, off a gentleman. And what was on offer was £243 worth of work. So not a massive round. It could be done in under 4 hours, he claims. Okay, fair enough, that's fine. He said it was a morning or an afternoon's work. Fair enough. Okay. He was sort of saying that he wants 10 cleans for it, or just short of 10 cleans. So he wanted £2,000, he wanted £2,000, right? Which basically means that in month 11, I would start seeing a return. So straight away, red flag there. I'm thinking, do I really want to wait 11 months for something that I could pick up in a day's worth of canvassing? I don't think so. But again, you know, there's room for negotiation. There's always room for negotiation, up or down, not a problem. And so the thing is, it's much like when you buy a car, right? If you buy a vehicle, right, and there's not a lot wrong with it, let's say there's good body work, there's no issues with service, it's got a full service history, one careful owner, etc. You know, no bangs, no prangs, it's you know, low mileage, happy days, then you're thinking to yourself, right, well actually that's a low risk purchase on the face of it. If you do diligence, I can't even speak, due diligence, there we go, then you've not really got a lot to worry about, right? Now, much like when you buy a window cleaning round, it's like when someone turns around and says, you know, oh, this window cleaning round's for sale, I want 10 cleans for this X, Y, and Z. And you're thinking, right, okay. And they turn around and say, oh, well, they're all due a price rise. That's like sort of turning around and saying to people, when you sell a car, you want top dollar for it, but at some point you're going to need to put an head gasket in yourself. But you want top dollar for it. It's like, no, I'm sorry, mate. That now has become a bit more of a risky purchase. So that then should be reflected in the price, what you pay for it. Okay. So you see how this works now, right? So the thing is that, as I've spoken about in other videos, we text all our customers the night before. They have my contact details. You know, we clean windows with water-fed pole in all weathers, because we're northern and we're not made of sugar and the bills don't pay themselves. You know, we work in all weathers, right? It is what it is, right? You live in, it's Lancashire, not Lanzarote, right? So then when you're purchasing around, let's say, the things I'm looking for are they fair weather customers? What's the pricing like? You know, are they far apart from each other? Can I slot them into an existing round that I've already got? And all that sort of good stuff. Now, this lad sort of said, you know, he did the windows traditional because he thought it was quicker. Straight away, there's a red flag there, because I don't care how good you are at maths. Traditional window cleaning, as good as it is, you are not going to operate at the same speed. You're just not, right? So that's that, right? He also said that a lot of his customers pay cash, and while I don't have a problem in taking cash from my customers, if, you know, the customer is located out like half an hour's drive from my house, what I would suggest that the customer does is that they leave their fees in a safe place that we already discussed. I'm not going to tell you where I normally ask them to leave it, but obviously, you know, there's an agreement where the money's left out and stuff like that, and, you know, you don't then have to burn a second lot of fuel to go back and collect money you've already earned. That's a big one for me. So, you know, so again, does this guy have that same mindset? Is he as organised as me? And this guy didn't even have phone numbers for his customers. So I'm just thinking to myself, right, well, there's an issue there because you've not taken the time to gather that information. I have to take it upon myself to go and gather that information. I also have to go, you know, take it upon myself to then sort of explain to the customer that this isn't a scam. I'm just a new window cleaner and this is how we operate, blah blah, and all this sort of stuff. And we play this nice little two-step tango and all that sort of jazz on the off chance that it's going to come off. It doesn't work. Okay, so for me, I've got to look at that and assess the risk, right? Bottom line is, this guy, as decent a bloke as he was, right, okay, doesn't operate in the same way that we do, okay, and I anticipate there's going to be problems there. So I straight away fired back with, you might want 10 cleans, or you want £2,000 for this round. I don't think it's worth that, because I'm going to have to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to have to gather this information. I'm going to have to convert them, put the prices up, etc., etc., and all this sort of stuff. The guy got a bit upset and walked out. And I've got to say, it's like I said, it's the shortest negotiation I've ever dealt with. But from meeting the guy to him leaving was about 4 minutes. It was, you know. But I think, again, the guy has come to expect what something is worth based on what other people in the past have paid. And I am not that guy. I'm not just a guy that will shell out £2,000 for 243 quid's worth of work every month. Especially when I stand to lose a chunk of them just by virtue of the fact that I'm not him and that I operate differently and that our pricing might be different, my face is different, you know, the fact that we come in all weathers, etc., you know, so that we will lose customers. Not everybody is our ideal customer. We accept that. We're grown up enough to do that. So these are the sorts of things I look at when purchasing a window cleaning round. I would, first of all, I would look at the pricing. If you have to raise the price, you will lose customers. If you have to convert customers from traditional to Waterford Pole window cleaning, you will probably lose customers. Okay, and again, it's not a problem so long as it's reflected in the price. Much like if the more work that needs doing on that vehicle, the more room there is for negotiation on price, right? So, you know, I would look at, you know, I would look at the pricing. I would look at the method it's being done. I would look at the processes involved as well. I'd sort of turn around and say, how do they know when you come in? And if they turn around and say, oh, I'll just turn up, then for me, there's more work to be done here. You know what I mean? If, on the other hand, right, a guy comes up to me and he says, Chris, I want to sell this window cleaning round, let's discuss, right? And, you know, he turns around to me and says, all the customers get a text the night before, we clean the windows in all weathers, etc. You know, I'm selling up because I'm retiring, or I'm selling up because it's a bit far out my way to go, etc. I'm trying to condense me around a wee bit, fine, you know. And there's a process in place. There's a relationship been built up between the customer and him and the guy that's selling. Then I don't see there being a problem. So long as the guy understands that's buying from me, I won't, generally speaking, unless it's really uber sexy work, i.e. good numbers, i.e. everything is tickety-boo, I won't pay generally. I want to be making money within 6 months. I want, in month 6, to start generating a profit from that investment. I want that money to be coming back to me, okay? I'm not going to wait 11 months to turn a profit unless what I'm purchasing is a long-term viable window cleaning rent that's going to generate me a lot of wedge, right? And the reality is, they are like unicorns, rare as rocking or shit. They don't generally exist, okay? So just be aware, you know, you need to, it's like refining your negotiating skills. It's fine, I get it, you know, and it can be quite daunting when you're talking to someone that's selling work. You don't want to offend anybody and all this sort of stuff. Me personally, as long as you can articulate it, and this is the key, is communication, yeah? I am not saying what he's selling isn't worth money. I am simply saying, from my perspective, the more I have to do, yeah, then the more, you know, there's going to be problems. Therefore, the price has to come down. If you are one of these people that are selling work, yeah, get your ducks in a row. You know, communicate with your customer. If you text them the night before, you know, that's a plus. If that's well-priced work, or it's within touching distance of being decent priced work, etc., you know, fine. If it's 4 weekly in all weathers with water-fed pole, then, oh, brilliant. Yeah, fine, let's have it. Not a problem. But, you know, just have a clear understanding that, you know, just because you want 10 cleans for it doesn't mean it's worth that. It's only worth what the buyer says it's worth, okay? Because if ultimately I'm not prepared to part with my hard-earned money, you ain't getting a bean. So that's my line of thinking anyway when it comes to buying window cleaning work. If you've enjoyed to the end of the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. And yeah, I shall see you all in the next video. I'd be intrigued to hear your thoughts as well, from those that are new to the industry, new to selling, new to buying, and also to you diehard sweats who just insist on your numbers. I'd be intrigued to have a conversation. Anyway, I shall see you all in the next video. Keep on keeping on.